Hi, everyone. Welcome to the new episode of the Prime Use series of interviews with top business and technology experts. Today, we are delighted to welcome a true veteran of technology, Idan Tendler, who is co-founder and CEO at Bridgecrew and also currently holds the position of VP of DevSecOps at Palo Alto Networks. Idan, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. It's a great pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Dana. It's a pleasure to be here. Sorry for being late.
Oh, no problem. Not at all.
I had some issues with the kids, but now I'm all yours.
Yeah, that's great. How many kids have you got?
Too many. 3.
3. How
and
old?
We have their friends there, so it's a chaos.
Ah, I see. Yeah. How old are your kids?
8, 6, and 3.
I see. Okay, got it. Yeah, that sounds familiar. You know, I've got 9-year-old twins, and when they get friends in house, it's it's a mess.
Yeah. So where are you talking from?
I'm talking from Ukraine. I don't know if you know the town called Lviv. It's very sound.
Yeah, of course.
So have you ever been to Lviv?
No. I think we have a family originally from there, I guess.
Really? Wow. Incredible.
Yeah.
The town actually
Yeah.
is, is very famous for being a hub of outsourced, in technology. Lots of companies in outsourcing. Yeah. So I thought that you know it from that perspective. But that's very interesting that you have family originally coming from here. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So you should come one day.
Cool, and congratulations. Yeah, I will. And you need to come to Israel, I guess.
I would be happy to. I've never had the chance to go to Israel. Yeah, I've been traveling around the world, but never to Israel. And I think it's a shame, I should go. Yeah.
You should. And congratulations on your blog and everything.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm doing my best. Idan, tell us a little bit more about Bridgecrew. Give us an overview of the company. What do you build there? What is it built for?
Yeah, so Bridgecrew, we were founded 2.5 years ago to enable developers and DevOps engineers to run security faster and in better scale. But we found out that security is being shifted left. So more and more responsibility for the security of the infrastructure is now at the hands of the developers. The security is now the responsibility of the DevOps engineers. Now, why? Because they are building the infrastructure, and they are the only ones that could actually fix the infrastructure when security issues come. And we built the company, we founded the company to equip them with the tools so they will have everything they need to just run faster and think less about security.
Does it mean that there were certain trends in the application development that made you realize you need to build a tool that will instrument engineering teams in producing secure and easily maintainable code?
I think the biggest trend that led us to really focus on this challenge was, of course, infrastructure as code. So, when you think about how teams, how companies could build applications faster, they have to build infrastructure faster. And infrastructure as code frameworks like Terraform and CloudFormation and so on allowed for the first time to build applications faster. Now, when you're building applications using infrastructure as code, it means that you also sometimes are doing mistakes, and sometimes you are getting into misconfigurations, especially if you're counting on open source libraries like Terraform. It's a great open source, but if you're counting on open source library of Terraform, you might even bring misconfigurations home, misconfigurations into your own application. And when more and more developers and DevOps engineers started to build infrastructure using Terraform and using other infrastructure as code frameworks, we saw an increase. We saw an increase in security issues, in security misconfigurations. And we understood that this is a tipping point when it comes to infrastructure security. More and more responsibility is shifting to the developers using infrastructure as code. We have to focus there. We have to bring them tools so they could first identify security issues, misconfigurations when they're writing the code itself. But more than that, they are developers eventually. It's not enough to tell them, hey, you just did a mistake, my friend. We have to give them tools to fix the misconfigurations, and the fix will always be in code. So, when we founded the company, we understood that a good solution here will not end in the detection side. It will always end in the fix side. And this was the focus all the time. And we're happy to see more and more developers and DevOps engineers throughout the world, from small startups to Fortune 100 companies use today our solution. And it became probably the best solution in the industry to identify and fix problems in infrastructure as code.
Because your solution and your tool that you have brought to the market to empower developers has been recognized being a superior one, and your company, after 2 years being on the market, got acquired by Palo Alto Networks. So maybe you could tell me more about this. Bridgecrew got acquired by Palo Alto Networks, and how does your product fit into that larger product suite of Palo Alto?
Yeah, we're really, really proud to be part of Prisma Cloud, and of course of Palo Alto Networks. Prisma Cloud is the best and the widest and the fastest growing cloud security solution out there. Prisma Cloud has more than 2,000 customers using it. And if you look at the features, if you look at the capabilities that Prisma Cloud enables customers to do, it's the widest set of features. From CSPM and CWP and SIEM, which is identity security, and so on. And when we came to Prisma, it was the missing piece. It was the shift left piece. When customers had Prisma, they had the best detection tool to identify problems throughout their applications, throughout the infrastructure. With Bridgecrew now, Prisma Cloud customers have the ability to fix the issues in code. And if you think about it, they could actually prevent the issues. Because when you're identifying misconfigs early as possible, before even they got into production, before even they got into runtime, you could prevent something like 90% of the misconfigs. So for the first time, Prisma Cloud provides great value to the developers, to the DevOps engineers, right? But also to the security team, because you could get rid of 90% of the misconfigs before even they got to production. And more than that, because Prisma did become what I believe the only solution from code to cloud, the only solution that actually provides value to developers and security, you could even think about it as a common ground, as a common language between security and developers. And the common language is policy. Mm-hmm. Security teams with Prisma Cloud can now think of new policies that they want to enforce in their infrastructure and the applications. And Prisma Cloud with Bridgecrew allows them to translate these policies to code. And this is something that developers get because they could get it in their own tool chain. They could get it in their CI/CD. We translate policies into pull requests. Mm-hmm. So strategically, Prisma Cloud, because we are code to cloud, we enable better coexistence and better productivity of security and DevOps.
Last time when I was sitting and talking with Bridgecrew, we were talking about Chaco, a really powerful and very popular platform built on open source software. So I was wondering whether you still prioritize open source in building your new and innovative products.
Yeah, of course. Our solution, Bridgecrew, and also now Prisma Cloud, is based on Chekhov. Chekhov, in the last year or two, had become what I believe the most interesting and the best practice in our industry in how do you deal with infrastructure as code? How do you scan for misconfigurations and how do you detect issues. And the fact that it is based on open source, it allows us so much, right? It allows us the communication, the conversation with the developers community.
Absolutely.
The developers community are not just users of Chekhov, they are contributors. And we see contributors from around the world, individuals, and also team members of Fortune 100 companies. All of them contribute back with policies and best practices. And this is why Chekhov, which is a great scanner eventually, it's a living creature. Mm-hmm. And it changes all the time. And this is why we're really proud of it. And now we see more, we see millions of downloads of Chekhov. We see also other products based on it. And, we're proud to use it. And we will continue to invest a lot in the open source, in the community, in Chekhov, because we believe it's a great value to the community. It allows us to better understand the trends, to get more value from the community, and just to work hand in hand with them.
Yeah, absolutely. I would imagine when you have this kind of communication with the developers, you can better understand their needs. And this tool that you have built, it's a vibrant one. It evolves with the needs of the users of that platform. So that is remarkable. The next thing, I saw in the news that you're announcing smart fixes, and maybe you could tell us what is it, and because I think that's a very clever way to actually leverage your expertise and your knowledge in the domain, right, to solve some of the common problems that companies have. So tell us more about that update to your product suite.
Yeah, so we just launched smart fixes, and in the past, we just had fixes. We provided, if we saw misconfigurations, we provided the fix to the misconfiguration, and the fix was in code. The challenge was how to fix more and how to fix more issues earlier and faster. And what we found out that eventually there is a DevOps engineer, and he's amazing, but still he needs to decide. They need to decide if they want to fix this code or not. And sometimes there are multiple options that we provided. Hey, you could do this or you could do that. And how will they know? Maybe they're new to the organization. Maybe it's the first time they're touching this application. And what we found out that the organization actually, the history of the organization, it knows pretty well. So what we are doing with smart fixes, we translate best practices and history, and we look at past secure code behaviors, and we could tell the DevOps engineers what is the recommended fix here. And this actually saves tons of time and tons of know-how. And it's not only technological tool, it's educational tool. Because with this tool, they could fix faster, but they could also get better understanding of the infrastructure. We're really, really proud of this tool, and I believe it's the industry's most innovative approach for this problem.
Interesting. How exactly did you build that tool that it actually is capable of recommending taking the right step? Did you insist some machine learning, artificial intelligence? So what was applied there to be able to provide that powerful tool?
Yeah, it's all about learning. So because we have great access to the code, to the infrastructure, but also to the behaviors of other developers in the organization, we could say, hey, for this misconfig, this is what happened in the past. For this misconfig, usually the fix will work. For this misconfig, this fix, nobody's using it, although it might seem trivial. This is translation of best practices, based on history, based on learning, into actionable fixes. And the need came from the community. We just learned and listened to our developers community. The need came from there. The data was already in our platform, and we just translated that to actionable insights.
I got it. So enforced learning, the system would go through enforced learning to be able to give the right recommendation. Yeah,
exactly.
I got it. Interesting. Idan, I would be also interested to hear about your insights on the future of the industry of DevSecOps. I believe it's a hot topic right now, since there were some news about the security breaches and other things, right? So where do you think the industry is headed?
So yeah, I think the past events showed us that security, first of all, is shifting left. So if we want and we have to do better security of our applications, of our infrastructure, we have to look at the code. We have to look at the entire, what we call software supply chain. And we have to look not only on your AWS or Azure or GCP on your runtime, you have to look at the entire tool chain. When the first line of code is being written, you need to provide the developers tools to run security. And the question is how to do it in a single pane of glass, or maybe if you want a single pane of code or a single pane of fix. Eventually, it's a single application. It's a single infrastructure. You might use variety of frameworks of infrastructure as code, variety of cloud frameworks, variety of developers. You have variety of policies, but you have one application. And our goal will always to build a platform that does it all, that you have great visibility from code to cloud, and you have a very, very quick and user-friendly fix to fix issues.
Yeah, that is very interesting. Do you feel that there is also a shift in understanding business leaders, that they now got the understanding that implementation of effective security tools have business impact?
Absolutely. And how do we see that? Not only in awareness, not only in budgets, but in how do they expect their teams to run security? In the past, the board of directors, they asked the CISO, hey, please secure the company, please secure the infrastructure or the application. Now leaders understand that security is something that everybody should do. The security team should lead it, definitely, but the security is something that should be embedded in your process, in your best practices, in the day-to-day. And even developers that do not own security or do not have enough know-how in security, now they are also the CISO of the company. And that is the biggest difference we see today.
Do you see also that in the future, as a future trend, that there might be, like kind of merge of roles? We have DevOps teams and we have DevSecOps teams. Do you think there might be a merge of these roles, since now, as you say, everybody is responsible for security of the code?
Yeah, we saw this change already with infrastructure. In the past, only few selected happy developers could build your infrastructure. Now it's democratization of building infrastructure. We want building infrastructure to be very, very easy and scalable. And because of this trend, security will follow. Everybody will need to do security. There will be democratization of security responsibilities. And we as leaders, we have two choices. The one choice is to fight it and to say, hey, no, we need a centralized security solution and responsibility and accountability. The second option is to help and to equip all the stakeholders with the right tools and the right technologies so they could just move faster.
Yeah, I think that is very important distinguishing, being the actually fueling that change that you at Bridgecrew actually take active part. Idan, there's one question left. Actually, I checked your LinkedIn profile and I could see you've shared an article where you write about the lack of talent on the market. And it's about startups, how technology might stagnate in the future.
Yep.
And you were specifically talking about Israel, but I believe this is the common problem for many industries and many countries. So if you could share with our listeners, what is your vision on that and what can be done to prevent industry from lack of talent to power the change?
Yeah, I mean, it's a challenge that started with good news. When we have more and more startups, when we have more and more unicorns and more IPOs, when technology moves faster, these are all great news. The challenge that they bring with them is lack of talent, as you mentioned. We need more headcount to develop code. Yeah. And it's natural that we have a lack of, or we will have a serious lack of talent. And you're right, it's a challenge we will have in Israel, but also I believe it's a worldwide challenge. And we need to think, how do we get more populations and more talent into our talent pool? We need to think about education in schools. We need to think about boot camps in scale. And this is what we're doing today already in Palo Alto. Palo Alto Networks invests a lot, and I'm happy to say that I'm one of the leaders here. We invest a lot in getting new populations into the development cycle. We are actively participating in boot camps. We are getting more and more junior developers in. We invest in follow-up training because we believe this is the future. This is the future of software. This is the future of cybersecurity. And we need to invest in it a lot.
I got this. Yeah, so that's actually a great point, right? Start investing from now, just to make sure that you get enough talent, right? The right people in your companies in the future. Idan, thank you so much for your time. It's a great to meet you today, and best of luck with your development of your new innovative tools.
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you.